Welcome back to the Rudder and welcome to the Anchorages of the Gold Coast series. My name's Brooke and we're on our way to Russell Nook. So we've just left home, we've pulled into the trawlers here for a kilo of prawns for dinner and we're going to head up to Russell Nook. We actually don't know what the anchorage is called, we call it Russell Nook. It's up near North Stradbroke, in between North Stradbroke and Russell Island. So we're going to head up there now, show you what it's like and see what it's like to anchor there overnight.
We're about 3/4 of the way to Russell Nook and we're just passing through another anchorage called Millionaire's Row. It's fairly quiet here today. We are actually out on a weekday, which is a bit sneaky. Took a day of leave because the weather is glorious on this winter's day. So we're heading up there. We've travelled about 11 nautical miles and yeah, we just got to go slow through this anchorage. So we're putting on through here. We're just about at Jumpin' Pin Bar. So Jumpin' Pin Bar is the top of South Stradbroke Island. So we've just, when we left, we were at the Seaway, which was the bottom of South Stradbroke Island. We're just about to turn up here in a second, and then there's a couple of nautical miles to go, and we'll be at Russell Nook. In front of us here, you can see Russell Island. There's no bridges. If you want to live on that island, you have to own a boat pretty much, or come on the barge. So we're going to take a starboard turn up here through quite a narrow little cutting between two sandbanks. And as we come around, that'll be North Stradbroke on our starboard side. Fairly deserted up here, which is why it's quite nice. Straight ahead of us is North Stradbroke Island. Let's go. So as we come around this marker, that's little Russell Nook. And you can see why we call it a nook. It's kind of tucked away in between Russell and North Stradbroke. And it doesn't look like we have many people here today, which is awesome. Now we just have to work out where to stay. One of the weird things is the wind has actually switched around to a northwesterly, which it is not supposed to be. So just like usual, but we're going to plan on having southerlies this evening. Probably going to anchor pretty much straight ahead. We'll be right in next to the beach, and that's one of the reasons we like this anchorage as well, is for the little puppies, they get to run on that beach right ahead of us. And just for your knowledge, this is pretty much, we're coming down to low tide now. One factor for Russell Nook, or this anchorage, is that it is 40 knots to the southern end of here. So you can see a boat going past beside us. So during the daylight hours, when there's a bit more traffic, you do get some boats in and around. We're in 3 meters of water here, which is plenty, obviously. And this is low tide. Actually, let's just go. So we might have to leave it there as we get ready to work out where exactly we're anchoring. But the water looks quite nice and calm. So we'll be with you in a tick once we're all anchored up.
Welcome to Russell Nook. We just dropped anchor and had some lunch and we are tucked in nicely. It took us about an hour to get up here from the Seaway, And yeah, so it's a stunning day, and we've only got one neighbour, but I don't even think there's anybody on board that sailing yacht.
As Brooke mentioned, it took about an hour to get up here. There was that 6-knot zone that we went through Millionaires Row. I think it's around about 17 nautical miles from the seaway, actually, as we drove up. And for those interested, we used about 50 litres of petrol. So we're cruising at 22, 23 knots. We had the tide against us the whole way though. But it was a very nice trip. It's a lovely afternoon here. And you can see the beach right behind us. We feel like, you might think we're quite close to the beach. We're actually in 3.5 metres of water, and it's almost low tide.
So we've got about 18 metres of road out, which will allow for the tide. We'll be here for about 24 hours, so we'll have the full swing of high and low tide.
The wind is being extremely variable. At the moment, it's actually coming from over here to the west, which it wasn't supposed to. So it looks like it's going to be westerly for a while, and then it's going to swing around to the south, and that's due south right behind us there. And you can see why we've tucked in here to try and get in behind North Stradbroke Island. And we'll just pan the other way up to the north. Quite sunny. So apart from our neighbour just behind us, we're quite secluded here, and that's probably one of the reasons we come to Russell Nook so often. So here's our anchor circle at Russell Nook. Now this is one place I would definitely suggest using an anchor alarm. It does get deep here, and it falls off even further as we go further into the channel here. So if the tide comes in, we're going to go up to about 4.5 meters or so as we hit the high tide. So do put your anchor alarm on, or whatever system you use, to make sure if you come off anchor you know about it. So let's have a bit of a look at where we are. So all this over here, this is all North Stradbroke Island, and this is Russell Island in here. And so we've travelled from the seaway, which is just there. So we've come all the way up South Stradbroke Island, round from South Stradbroke and into Little Russell Nook. And you can see we have no idea what this anchorage is called. It's just called Anchorage. If we have a look at so we're in 3.2 meters of water, about an hour till we hit low tide. It's going to lose another 10-20 centimeters, and then it's going to come up 1.8 meters. And as I said, we used 4.7 liters to get up here, so just under 50 liters of driving.
The sunsets here are absolutely stunning. It'll set over this way, so we'll have a beautiful sunset. And the rocks behind us, they light up nice pretty colours, so we'll get some footage of that later for you guys.
And it's dead silent. There's nothing around here. There's no townships anywhere near us on North Stradbroke Island side. It's very deserted that side. And as I said, Russell Island, there is quite a few houses on there, but they're quite a way over there, and certainly not a busy spot.
Tucked in behind the trees, so we can't even see them.
So we're going to take the puppies across to the beach so they can have a bit of a run and get everything ready for the afternoon, and we'll catch you soon. We are right on low tide now, and we're a little bit unnervingly close to the shore. We are still in actually 3 meters of water right underneath me, even though we're 5 meters from land over there. We're just on the swing. So we've been facing north, and you can see the stern's coming around a little bit slowly, so we're turning around so we'll face into the south. And this is a much more pleasant way to face, with the southerly coming in, so we'll have wind and tide both on our nose, which is much better. But it is one of those things you have to watch out for when you're anchoring, is, you know, how much anchor have you got out, how much road have you got, and which way you're going to swing. We always seem to swing towards the land. We never seem to swing out into the channel. So That's the low tide. That's about as much beach as you'll ever get here. I think it's a 0.3 low tide, and it's coming up 1.8 metres. So you're going to lose most of that beach on the high tide, but that'll be sometime tonight. Okay, I'll leave it there.
Welcome to Sundowners at Russell Nook. As I mentioned to you earlier, the colours at sunset here are absolutely beautiful. You can see the rocks and the sand behind us are lit up beautifully because of the sun. We are now facing south, so the tide has turned and so has the wind direction, and we've got 20 metres of anchor chain out. How much water are we in, and what's the bed of like?
So we're in about 3.5 metres at the moment. We're going to probably put another metre or so of water. So this bed is, well, it's a lot of sand but also some mud. So the anchor will hold really well, but you do want to make sure you put your anchor chain out. You want to make sure you've got your anchor alarm on, because there is a really good tidal flow. Not sure if you can see that, but you can see a good tide starting to push on the anchor there. And we're only just coming into the tidal range now, so that'll pick up a little bit.
And yeah, the red line there is the 20 metre anchor line.
Check out that video. Might be a bit easier to see here, but if you can just have a look at the water moving around a tender, some of the bubbles, it's got a good flow. But also check out the colours just behind us.
It is quite peaceful. You can, there's absolutely nothing but the sound of birds tonight. As you can see, it's a beautiful clear sky. It will be stars from one side of the sky to the other because there's no light pollution from the cities.
No, there's nothing around here. And the other really crazy thing is the wind that was out of the west for a while, which was not predicted, has completely disappeared. It's almost still now. I'm guessing it's going to come from the south a bit later tonight, but you never know.
So hopefully that if it does come from the south, that means we'll be protected by the headland there, and we won't get too much tippy tap, as I like to call it, on the bow as we sleep through the night. So yeah, welcome to, as I said, welcome to Sundowners at Russell Nook. This is why we absolutely love this spot. It's deserted, it's peaceful. We get in touch with nature, and it's just absolutely stunning as the sun goes down.
Okay, well, fingers crossed we have a good night, that wind stays nice and calm, and we'll see you in the morning.
Cheers. Welcome to 1 a.m. on board Antoinette. Didn't think we'd be coming to you quite yet. It's definitely not the morning. We've woken up to extremely strong southerly winds, and we've decided to pull all the toys in, and we're not quite sure if we're going to pull into a marina or if we are going to head all the way home. So we'll keep you posted on our journey currently from Russell Nook. Damien's out the back pulling the tender in, and yeah, we'll keep you posted, but we're definitely not going to be finishing this video at Russell Nook, so we'll come back to you shortly. So from idyllic sunsets and sundowners to a less than ideal dash home. I don't know, are we going home? Home or to a marina at 1:30 a.m. 2 a.m. So the joys of boating. So Damien, what's going on? We are going at 7.5 knots. We are heading into where into really strong southerlies. What's
It's
this?
about 20 knot southerlies. I thought we'd be protected there, but they got in there quite well, and we were getting held wind against tide, so a side on, which was very uncomfortable. So yeah, but unfortunately the whole trip home is into the southerly.
So yeah, we're going at 7.5 knots. So let's talk about, we could either drive for 40 minutes and then pull into a marina called Coroner Cove and tuck in, try to get a few hours sleep before we head home, or probably just chug away for 2 hours at 7.5 knots. Let us know in the comments below, what would you guys do? Not quite sure yet. What are we thinking, Damien?
Don't know. Getting through this tight little channel here.
Getting through this tight little channel is the #1 objective at the moment, and then we'll make our decision. Good morning from Antoinette, and we actually made the decision to come home, and I was completely incorrect. It didn't take 2 hours. I think we didn't get home till 5:30 a.m. So
took a bit over 3 hours. Yeah, so we're at home. The wind, I just had a look at the wind map to see what actually happened. So it was up over 20 knots, which wasn't predicted. It was supposed to be about 12 knots overnight. And just, yeah, this was a comfort call. So we weren't in trouble. Our anchor was holding firm. I'm going to put on the our anchor ring. So you can see we were holding firm. The problem really was that at that time of the night when that wind came up, the tide was going out and the wind was against us, so it kind of put Antoinette beam on, so we were rolling side to side with that wind.
So there was definitely no safety hazard. It was just, yeah, we decided to be sooks and come home and have a few hours this morning in the comfort of our bed at home instead.
Here's our track from last night. So that's our anchor circle, which I said is very important, especially if those winds come up. And you can see we floated around quite a bit. It's fairly typical pattern for Russell Nook, as you do get that swing with the tide. But yeah, as you can see, we certainly weren't dragging anchor or having any problems. We just decided to head on home. So I guess that's, this is just part of boating. If you got to make a call for safety and for your what you can do and have a plan. We're very lucky that we can come back to home. We could have gone to Coroner Cove, a marina, which someone pointed out was a little bit closer. But then I'd be docking in a marina at night with a fair amount of wind, which we could have done. But I figured since I was up already, we could just chug on home.
Navigating home is sometimes interesting. It's actually quite a different experience. It's pitch black, and obviously you're following the lights on the beacons. But the other great thing about our Garmin GPS is you actually just follow your previous track. So that makes it a little bit easier, because actually because believe it or not, some of the lights on the beacons don't work. You would think that they would, but no, they don't.
A couple of the beacons are out. The track really does give you a good peace of mind. You can just put yourself on that track and you know that you're not going to hit any sandbars. As long as when you went out, you did the right thing. So it just brings you home. And it also gave us a bit of a time map for how long we'd take. And just to let everyone know, we came home at about 6 or 7 knots the whole way. There was no way we were up on the plane at night. Yeah,
so that's the other thing that's important to note. We didn't go to speed, but the important thing is you do have to keep your wits about you. We were driving along and Damien saw a random kayaker. I think that was at 3 a.m. So a random kayaker just paddling along with no navigation lights or anything on.
He had the smallest little light on his shoulder, and I didn't spot him till closer than I'd like. But yeah, and there was a couple of fishing boats that had almost no lights. They had some nav lights, but not an all-round white, or if they did, it wasn't very bright. So yeah, you've got to be aware. The point of this video though was to show you another anchorage on the Gold Coast. Russell Nook is beautiful. It does get the southerly winds, but it is a beautiful spot. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed that video and some of the cool drone footage we had. before the winds came up, it was a gorgeous evening up until about midnight, and then the wind swung around and came in there. But there you go. So
if you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe. And if you've been caught at anchor in high winds, let us know in the comments box. If you've got any ideas for contents, please let us know in the comments box as well. And we'll see you next time on The Rudder.